India started its interim trade framework with the US as a big win for both countries. Exporters welcome the deal, but experts say trade tensions have underscored a greater urgency for New Delhi to diversify its strategic and economic ties. Neha Poonia reports for CNA from New Delhi.
A week after India and the European Union finalized an agreement creating what's being called the world's largest free trade zone, came a much-delayed India-US interim trade framework, the first sign of a thaw after what's been a year of trade tensions.
आज का दिन स्वर्णिम अक्षरों में लिखा जाएगा। पूरे देश में खुशी की लहर है। देश के हर क्षेत्र में बहुत ही उत्साह है भविष्य को लेकर।
The deal will bring US tariffs on Indian exports down to 18% from a steep 50%. Experts say the hastiness with which it was announced could be a sign that the EU deal acted as a catalyst.
I think it's a message to the US that, look, there are other partners eventually. Also, that Indian economy has been resilient. But I think this kind of diplomatic signaling remains an important variable in how you want to project your confidence in your ability to navigate the relationship with the US.
As US-India trade talks dragged on and Washington threatened to hit Delhi with more tariffs, India rapidly signed deals with the UK, New Zealand and the EU, all in the last 1 year. A big change of pace for a country that has traditionally been cautious about opening its developing economy to the developed world. While exporters have welcomed the trade framework with the US, experts are sounding a note of caution. The Indian government has neither confirmed nor denied Washington's claims that New Delhi will stop buying Russian oil. India, according to the joint statement, will eliminate or reduce tariffs on all US industrial goods and a wide range of food and agricultural products. But an 18% tariff rate will apply on many Indian exports, including textiles and leather products.
I think the US-India deal is more like the kind of deals that Trump has announced with other trade partners. You know, they are not really formal, broad agreements. And we've seen how when President Trump threatened tariffs over Greenland, that it was also not sacrosanct and could be reopened.
With the EU, experts say it could take months before the trade deal comes into force, and when it does, the scope of growth could be limited.
See, EU is also a fairly saturated market, not a very high growth market at this stage. However, it is a mental assurance, like probably protectionism will not take place and there will be no rollback of the current regime.
India's engagement with the EU, however, goes beyond trade.
There's also a very big focus on expanding strategic ties. India is now only the third Asian country after Japan and South Korea to have a defense partnership with the bloc. Experts say this signals the EU's intent to step in to fill a vacuum created by US policies, especially here in the Indo-Pacific.
But they warn the EU has very big shoes to fill.
Not in the short term. I think in the short term it will be very difficult. EU as a whole does not have the kind of capabilities for power projection that America has.
India is casting its net wide, now looking for a trade treaty with the Gulf nations. The focus remains on the willingness of like-minded countries to work together to uphold a rules-based world order, even when the US may not. And despite trade tensions, India's biggest trump card remains its economic might and size, a big lure even for a more protectionist America. For CNA, I'm Neha Poonia in New Delhi.